New at 10. Going out for drinks is something many adults in the Valley enjoy.
But that presents a challenge. How do you have a good time but get home safely?
Well, you can call a cab or bring a DD.
Or you can use one of these over-the-counter breathalyzers. In this exclusive report, I'm putting this device to the test to see how it measures up against what the police are using in the field to keep us safe.
It is basically an epidemic.
Strong words from Sergeant Brian Edwards about drunk driving in the Valley. He's with the Waynesboro Police Department, and he says sharing the news of a drunk driving death is never easy.
I've personally done them where the person has sobbed uncontrollably for an hour.
Just take a look at the numbers for 2015 alone. In Waynesboro, 24 drivers have been arrested for drunk driving. In Augusta County, 7. In Rockingham County, 25. Stanton has seen 3 arrests. One of those arrests was this man, who was charged with driving under the influence in a crash that killed a mother and daughter in Stanton, something that shook the whole community, including the victim's friends.
What happened isn't good, and it could have been prevented.
It's this kind of tragedy that new over-the-counter breathalyzers aim to prevent. You might have seen these breathalyzers sold at Valley gas stations. Well, that brings us to Barren Ridge Vineyards, where we're putting these to the test, going toe-to-toe with what the police use in the field. In Virginia, some red wines have an alcohol content of around 12%. Compare that to the Viognier, which is a white wine, has an alcohol content of about 13.5%. This is the one we're going to use for today's test. Wine experts say it takes about 3 glasses for a person my size to get close to the legal limit of 0.08. Fast forward about an hour into wine tasting at Barren Ridge, at which point many would feel pretty buzzed. So that takes care of part 1 of the test, the actual drinking. Part 2, my designated driver is going to take me to the police department, where we're going to put our breathalyzers head to head.
I'll be okay. I think that that's probably the most famous phrase for most drunk drivers before they're arrested, before they have an accident, or before they get killed themselves.
That's why Barren Ridge employees say they always recommend visitors have a plan to get home safely after drinking. By the time we reach the Waynesboro Police Department to test this over-the-counter breathalyzer, you can see why. The instructions here actually say if you can't read these instructions, then you shouldn't be driving. Which is good advice. Fast forward 3 minutes later, and we've got the results. See those green crystals just past the black line? They're telling me I'm over the legal limit and should not be driving. Enter Sergeant Chris Hilliard of the Waynesboro Police Department.
What I'm going to do now, I'm going to ask you to do an Alka-Sensor test for me.
He's testing my breath for alcohol.
Good.
Using the same device he would use in the field after pulling someone over.
Oh my goodness.
As you can see, you're at a 0.14.
That's 0.06 above the legal limit in Virginia. With results like that, some follow-up tests are next. Sergeant Hilliard puts me through the same evaluation he would do to an actual suspected drunk driver, which, despite my best efforts, I failed. Clearly, the breathalyzer I bought at the store was onto something, leaving the police with one option.
Drunk driving arrest was probably one of the most satisfying arrests a police officer can make.
That's because when they bring someone off the road and into here for more tests and some jail time, they know they are saving lives.
It pushes us all the time to know that hopefully that drunk driver getting off the road is the one that is going to kill someone.
Fortunately, they're getting some help.
Can I see your Jack card?
Yep.
A group of determined JMU students offers safe rides for their classmates on the weekend. These safe drivers say despite their efforts, they still see drunk drivers on our streets.
There's 160 of us every weekend that pretty much dedicate a night to saving people's lives and preventing this from happening, and it's almost a lot like a slap in the face.
To know that despite the warnings, people in our area still put their lives and others at risk, even when these breathalyzers, designated drivers, and the costly threat of jail time should be preventing the problem.
There's so many people that just kind of wash their hands and say, well, I'm here, so I'm safe. But someone else could be the victim.
And for a link to an online blood alcohol content calculator, as well as more footage of the tests I had to go through, just pick up your smartphone, tablet, or computer.
We have that and other extras posted with this story at onlyonwhsv.com.
And before we go to break, I also want to thank Barren Ridge Vineyards and the Waynesboro Police Department and JMU Safe Rides for allowing us to be part of this story and to help tell this story in a safe way.